In the quiet, echoing chambers of your mind, does a conversation from last night or even a decade ago still play on a relentless, tormenting loop? Do you feel the phantom ache of past moments, meticulously re-editing a script that has long since concluded, attempting to polish a version of yourself that now exists only as a ghost in the halls of your memory? You are not alone in this silent, exhausting crusade. This constant, grinding effort to fix what you said, to improve who you were, to perfect every thought and feeling before it even fully takes flight, this is a subtle, yet profound form of self-imprisonment. You have been masterfully conditioned to believe that this hypervigilance is the hallmark of progress, the noble work of self-betterment. But listen closely to the deeper truth stirring within you. This struggle is the very source of your deepest anxieties. It is the friction that wears down your soul. If this profound echo of truth resonates within the sacred core of your being, let your energy be known. Let your presence be felt. A simple affirmation in the comments below, "I feel this," or "I am ready to let go," becomes a powerful beacon, an energetic signal to the universe and a comforting hand extended to others, reminding them that they are not walking this challenging path in solitude. Affirm your conscious awakening by liking this message and subscribe to remain anchored to this frequency of profound understanding. This is more than just a space on the internet. It is a sanctuary for souls who are finally ready to remember their own inherent unshakable perfection. You must now awaken to a fundamental divine truth, a truth that has been whispered to you in dreams and through the quiet rustling of leaves. You were not sent to this earthly plane to be a perpetual work in progress, a complex problem to be solved, or a series of flaws to be relentlessly corrected. The world, in its current vibration, has sold you a pervasive and convincing Leah frequency of deep-seated inadequacy that keeps you shackled to a never-ending cycle of self-critique and judgment. It screams at you from every screen and billboard to hustle harder, think smarter, feel differently, to constantly tune and adjust the sacred instrument of your soul as if it were born inherently out of key. This frantic, desperate energy, this compulsive need to micromanage every facet of your being, your daily habits, your spiritual path, your most intimate emotional responses, is not the road to your higher self. It is, in fact, the very chain that binds you to the low vibration of lack, insufficiency, and perpetual striving. The relentless pursuit of a better you carries with it a toxic, unspoken assumption that the current you is fundamentally not enough. And this, my friend, is the greatest and most tragic of all illusions. You are not a machine in need of constant cold upgrades. You are a living, breathing, divine expression of the cosmos itself, a sacred story unfolding in perfect divine timing. The profound exhaustion you feel is not a symptom of life's demands, but a direct result of carrying the impossible, crushing weight of trying to control the exquisitely uncontrollable. So, what if the most profound spiritual awakening you could ever experience is not an act of doing more, but an act of courageously undoing? What if the master key to unlocking your highest, most authentic potential lies not in adding another layer of self-improvement, but in the gentle, graceful act of letting go? Allow that truth to permeate every cell of your body. The real, lasting, soul-deep transformation that you yearn for so deeply, rarely, if ever, looks like constant, grinding, white-knuckled effort. It is not born from the violent act of forcing clarity out of the sacred mystery of confusion, or from desperately chasing validation from an external world that will never, and can never, fully comprehend the unique and intricate blueprint of your spirit. True transformation is a gentle unfolding, like a time-lapse of a flower blossoming in the dawn. It is a quiet, internal blossoming that can only occur when you finally, bravely cease the internal war. This grace arrives in the sacred, silent space you create for yourself, when you stop trying to solve problems that were only ever born in the anxious, shadowy corners of your mind. They were never true problems to begin with. They were simply experiences, divine data points in the grand, personalized curriculum of your soul's epic journey. I want you to travel back in your mind, just for a moment, to the most beautiful, miraculous, and divinely orchestrated moments of your life. Can you recall them? That person who appeared in your life as if from thin air, at the exact moment you had sworn off love, and whose presence single-handedly changed your entire perspective on what it means to connect. That unexpected, life-altering opportunity that landed softly in your lap the very day you finally surrendered, giving up your frantic attempts to force a different, less aligned door to open. That profound, soul-shaking answer to a question that had plagued you for years, an answer that didn't come from a book or a guru, but whispered itself into your awareness during a quiet walk in nature, long after you had stopped demanding it from the universe. Ask yourself with radical honesty, did any of these divine interventions, these moments of pure grace, arrive because you had meticulously planned them down to the last second? Did they manifest because you controlled every variable and obsessed over every possible outcome? Of course not. They arrived because you finally, courageously, stepped back. They flowed into the landscape of your life when you loosened your death grip on how you thought your story was supposed to be written, and you allowed life, in its infinite and unfathomable wisdom, to show you the breathtaking narrative it truly had in store for you. By letting go, you created a vacuum of pure trust, and the loving universe, in its very nature, rushed in to fill that space with magic, with synchronicities, with miracles. It is a tragedy of the human condition that we forget this powerful, elemental truth all too easily. We are lured back into the seductive illusion that control equals progress, that by micromanaging our inner world, our thoughts, our feelings, our every impulse, we can somehow erect an impenetrable fortress to safeguard ourselves from the unpredictable nature of the outer world. But what we are actually doing is standing in the middle of our own divine river and trying to build a dam. Imagine your life as a sacred, mighty river, with a current of divine intelligence destined to carve its majestic path through canyons of experience on its way to the vast, open sea of your ultimate becoming. Now, picture yourself standing defiantly in the middle of this powerful current, your muscles tensed, your jaw clenched, your hands desperately trying to clutch the flowing water to force it into a straighter, faster, more efficient channel of your own design. From your limited perspective, you believe you are helping it, guiding it, improving its course. But what is the reality? You are not helping the water move. You are only creating immense pressure, unbearable resistance, and a chaotic, frantic splashing that completely obscures your vision and utterly exhausts your spirit. You are, in essence, fighting the very current of grace that is designed to carry you effortlessly home. This is the energy of control. It is futile, it is draining, and it is the hidden source of so much of our unspoken suffering. The exact same principle applies to the river of your life, the natural flow of your emotions, and the sacred journey of your soul. The true answer, therefore, is not to do more, but to be more. The path to freedom is not paved with more effort, but with more presence. It is about finding the profound courage to simply get still. It is about allowing the sacred space of silence, the pauses between your thoughts, to speak its ancient wisdom before you frantically interrupt it with the loud, clattering noise of your fear. When you finally stop the incessant, exhausting project of fixing yourself, you finally, truly begin to feel. You begin to feel the subtle, energetic currents that are always moving around you. You begin to feel the gentle, unmistakable guidance of your intuition, that quiet inner knowing. You begin to feel the deep, resonant, and unspeakable peace that has been waiting so patiently for you, just beneath the turbulent surface of your everyday anxiety. And when you truly, fully, and bravely start to feel, you can at last hear what is real. Not the frantic, screaming voice of the egoic mind, the voice of fear that commands you to control everything, to anticipate every threat, and to manage every outcome, but the calm, steady, and loving voice of your higher self, the eternal whisper of the divine that has been trying to guide you with infinite patience all along. This is not an act of passivity. It is the highest and most potent form of active, conscious participation in the co-creation of your own life. Let's be radically, vulnerably honest with ourselves in this moment. We all crave clarity. It's a deep human yearning. We want the cosmic roadmap, the guaranteed outcome, the divine assurance that the path we are on is the right one. We chase this clarity with the ferocity of a starving person, believing with every fiber of our being that it holds the singular key to our peace and happiness. But here, right here, lies the great and tragic paradox of the spiritual journey. The more we demand, grasp for, and try to force clarity, the more muddled, confusing, and blurry our reality inevitably becomes. Have you not noticed this pattern in your own life? You overthink a simple decision until it becomes a monumental crisis. You overanalyze a brief interaction until you've created a dozen painful imaginary scenarios. You dissect every moment of silence from another person and interpret it as definitive proof of failure or rejection. You replay past conversations not for genuine insight, but as a form of emotional self-flagellation. You obsess over imaginary timelines and cruelly compare your unique, sacred, and winding journey to the carefully curated, public highlight reel of another person's life. And just like that, with that one act of comparison, you are no longer living your life. You are managing it like a perpetual crisis, a failing business on the very brink of spiritual bankruptcy. You become so intensely busy and preoccupied with looking for the light at the end of the tunnel that you completely fail to realize the most fundamental truth of all. You are the light. And perhaps, just perhaps, the things you're so desperately trying to force into existence haven't clicked into place yet for a very simple, profoundly divine reason. You are holding on far too tightly to the limited version of life that your fear-based ego thinks is best for you. Maybe life, in its infinite, benevolent, and loving wisdom, is waiting patiently for you to finally let go of your rigid, meticulously detailed, fear-based blueprint. It's waiting for you to release the script you've written so that it can present you with a breathtaking masterpiece you couldn't have even begun to imagine in your wildest dreams. Understand this. Letting go is not an admission of defeat. It is not a sign that you are giving up. It is, in fact, a profound and courageous declaration of ultimate trust. It is the conscious, powerful choice to stop carrying the crushing, self-imposed weight of things that were never, ever yours to control in the first place. This singular act is not passive. It is not weak. It is one of the most powerful and transformative spiritual actions you can possibly take. Because the very second you stop fighting every minute detail, the precise moment you cease your internal resistance against what is, you create a sacred space. You create room within your being for peace to enter, for authentic and aligned progress to begin, and for glorious possibilities so grand and beautiful they were previously completely invisible to your worried, contracted eyes. Real, authentic, spiritual growth, the kind of evolution that literally elevates your very vibrational frequency, doesn't always arrive with a thunderous roar or a blinding flash of light. More often, it comes softly, in the deep stillness, in the quiet, internal, almost imperceptible shift where your compulsive need to control finally, mercifully dissolves, and your profound trust in the divine flow of life takes its rightful and royal place. The unvarnished truth is that control feels safe. It's an illusion, but a powerful one. It offers the false promise that we can protect ourselves from the inherent chaos of existence, from the sting of heartbreak, from the perceived shame of failure. And for a fleeting, deceptive moment, this strategy might even appear to work. But it is a fragile and brittle fortress, because when your entire emotional state, your very sense of well-being and self-worth, is precariously dependent on things going a very specific, predetermined, and rigidly controlled way, you are not free. You are living in a beautifully decorated, but ultimately suffocating, cage of your own meticulous construction prison, built with the invisible, yet incredibly strong, bars of your own expectations. And here is the beautiful, liberating, and empowering secret that can set you free. That very cage is built, piece by piece, with your own expectations. It is constructed of tiny, invisible bars that constantly whisper insidious lies into your ear. It absolutely has to happen like this. It must arrive precisely by this time. The outcome must look exactly like what I've pictured in my mind, or else I won't be okay, I won't be worthy, I will be a failure. Let that truth truly sink into the deepest chambers of your heart. When you operate from this frequency, you are not just managing external situations, you are attempting to manage your internal emotions through these external situations, which in turn creates a constant, low-grade, and deeply exhausting hum of tension that permeates every area of your life. Even when everything on the surface of your life appears to be fine, you feel that nagging unease, that subtle but persistent sense that something is just a little bit off. That off feeling, that is your soul. That is your body. That is your very life force essence telling you, with love, that it is bone-weary and utterly tired of gripping so tightly. It is a loving, internal alarm, a signal that it is time to release your grip and breathe. You do not need to micromanage every single step of your sacred journey. The universe, God, source, life, whatever name you give to the great, benevolent intelligence that orchestrates the dance of the cosmos as its own perfect, inherent rhythm. And that divine rhythm does not, and cannot, respond to force. It responds to flow, it responds to surrender, it responds to presence. It responds most powerfully when you finally stop screaming at the heavens, I need the answers now. Long enough to quiet your mind and hear the profound wisdom that life has been patiently trying to share with you all along. The people you know who embody a deep, unshakable, and authentic peace are not the ones who have meticulously figured everything out. They are, in fact, the ones who have courageously stopped needing to have it all figured out. They have consciously made peace with the sacred mystery of the unknown. They have gracefully accepted the profound truth that sometimes the state of confusion is the classroom itself, and the only way to graduate is to surrender to the lesson with an open heart. This act of surrender is an expression of supreme strength and wisdom. It takes immense courage to willingly step off the frantic mental marathon, to intentionally cease tightening your grip on a future that has not yet come to pass, and to learn to trust that even the periods of silence, waiting, and apparent nothingness are sacred and purposeful. And in that moment of conscious release, the most beautiful and miraculous thing begins to happen. Your life does not fall apart, it begins to fall perfectly into place. The right people, the ones who resonate with your true soul frequency, begin to emerge, not because you desperately hunted them down, but because your new, open, and trusting energetic signature called them into your experience. The right answers, the ones you truly needed, begin to land softly in your awareness, not all at once in a chaotic and overwhelming flood, but gently, naturally, one by one, as you are ready to receive them. You have finally stopped blocking the divine flow. And in that newly created space, in that courageous openness, everything in your life starts moving with grace and ease in the direction it was always divinely intended to go. There is something incredibly powerful and transformative that occurs when you finally stop needing things to unfold exactly as your limited mind had imagined. You cease your internal war of resistance against reality itself, and it is that constant, exhausting resistance, not the external event itself, that truly drains most of us of our vital life force. Think about it with clarity. A person doesn't text you back, and you immediately spiral into a vortex of painful self-doubt and worst-case scenarios. You don't achieve a personal goal according to your own rigid, self-imposed schedule, and suddenly your entire sense of self-worth is viciously called into question. A door of opportunity closes, and you interpret it not as a simple event, but as a personal, cosmic indictment of your fundamental value as a human being. But what if none of that means what your fear-based ego immediately and dramatically tells you it means? What if life isn't trying to punish you, but is trying, with infinite love and patience, to gently and lovingly redirect you towards something even better? What if that relationship that ended was actually the universe's way of protecting you from a future of deep stagnation and misalignment? What if that opportunity you missed was simply the universe making sacred room for something far more expansive and aligned with your true soul's purpose? What if that frustrating delay is not a roadblock, but a divine training ground, building a profound resilience and unshakable patience within you that will be absolutely essential for a blessing that is coming, a blessing so much larger and more magnificent than your current, limited timeline could even begin to comprehend? When you embrace this perspective, every setback becomes a setup for a greater comeback, every closed door a redirection to a more beautiful path. You begin to see the hand of the divine in everything, guiding you, protecting you, and loving you through every twist and turn of your journey.